God illumines the mind and shines within it. One cannot know God by means of the mind. One can but turn the mind inwards and merge in God. Happiness is our real nature. No one can make you unhappy. Your imagination alone does that. This means that the key to happiness lies in how we perceive and respond to the world around us. Whether you feel trapped or free, the root is in your mind. It is the tool that shapes our reality. Let's imagine the mind as a clear mirror, reflecting perfectly everything that appears before it. Just like a mirror has no opinions or preferences about what it reflects, our mind can also be clear, open, and light. Poor education, bad culture, and bad habits are the elements that distort our perception of what is real. Be like space. It never ages, never has moods, it simply is what it is. However, the big challenge arises when we encounter the ego. The problem isn't what the ego says, but how much we believe in it. We tend to quickly believe in our feelings and mental processes. Just be a witness to your own mind. Imagine yourself observing what goes on in your mind as a neutral spectator, without identifying with every thought and emotion. This is only possible when we keep our attention in a state of neutrality, allowing the mind to return to its natural abode as eternal consciousness. It's not about interpreting every moment, but about quieting down and letting life unfold without our identity interfering. Stay in pure observation, be like silence and natural peace. When the person we imagine ourselves to be fades away, the voice of the serpent, representing the distractions and disturbances of the mind, also disappears. This brings us to the state of presence. But it's not about waiting for presence, it's about being presence and simply being empty, without thinking about the future. Understand that the mind uses different techniques to attract our attention. Just stay still, in silence. Imagine today were your last day in this body. Would the opinions of your mind make any difference to you? I bet not. Challenge the notion of control. Don't be arrogant enough to think that we are the ones making life flow. Instead of interfering, enjoy the ride of impartial witnessing. Leave space for the unexpected. Give up the habits of predicting, interpreting, and projecting. But being empty doesn't just mean being free of thoughts. It also means being free from the ego and its influence. the ego's identity is the main cause of suffering. Only when we free ourselves from the ego and its illusions do we discover our true nature, innate wisdom, harmony, peace, unlimited joy, and the eternal life of our true self. Imagine yourself entering a room and leaving all baggage outside the door. The baggage represents who you think you are, and who you want to be. Allow yourself to be stripped of all falsehood. This is the ground of being, and to remain empty in this space is to surrender. It's being empty of you, letting go of the idea that you are your personality, and opening up to a greater truth. The spirit is presence, not a person. In silence, we exist without history, name, and form. Recognize this space here and now, simply by being. Let me tell you a story. Once, there was a wealthy and shrewd businessman who took a vacation near a small fishing village. One morning, as the sun was high and the coconut trees swayed gently in the breeze, he took a stroll on the nearly deserted beach. About halfway down the beach, he came across a small fishing boat, and an old fisherman was sitting in the shade, enjoying his cigarette. "Good morning, my friend. How come you're not out there fishing?" "The water looks perfect for a good catch," said the businessman. "Are you a man of the sea?" asked the simple fisherman. "No," replied the businessman. "But I noticed all the other boats are out, except yours." The old man then explained, "There are no other boats here. I fish alone. I fish at night. Now I rest here in the breeze and shade." "But if you went out now, wouldn't you catch more fish?" the businessman inquired. "Probably, but why?" questioned the humble fisherman. "Well, I'm sure you could sell them at the tourist beach right there," said the businessman, pointing to the nearby village. "And then what?" asked the fisherman again. "Well, then you could buy an engine for your boat and go even farther into deep waters to catch even bigger fish." "And then?" the humble fisherman inquired once more. "Well, then you could buy another boat, employ some of these unemployed young folks to fish for you, and make even more money." "For what?" said the old man. "Well, with all that money, you could build your house. You could sit back, relax, and enjoy life with a peaceful mind," replied the businessman. "Thank you for your advice," smiled the fisherman, "but that's precisely what I'm doing right now." The businessman, humbled, clasped his hands together and nodded in agreement. "The peace you were looking for, you already are. Just be still." Allow yourself, like the humble fisherman, to explore this simple yet transformative invitation of mine. By embracing this practice, you might discover that true serenity is not outside of us, but within. waiting to be found when we give ourselves the gift of stillness.